What's up, Dallas? Woohoo! How are y'all feeling tonight? Good? All right. I think I need some more energy. Dallas, one more time. Make some noise! Thank you guys so much. Wow, it just feels so great to be back in land, to be in front of all you guys, beautiful people, and just, you know, getting this energy. It's gonna be a great time today, right guys? We're coming to you live from Esports Stadium, Arlington for the Kickoff Clash, and we've got an epic first day of matches coming up. Starting things off, we got the two-time champs, the undefeated #1 seed for the Kickoff Clash, none other than San Francisco Shock, taking on the unpredictable underdogs, the Washington Justice. Any Justice fans? Moving on to the next match, we got the #4 seed Florida Mayhem going up against the bad boys of the league. None other than Atlanta Reign. For our third match, this team took the Countdown Cup last year, but are hungry for more. The Los Angeles Gladiators are taking on Texas's very own Houston Outlaws. And last but not the least, will Toronto rise together, or will Dallas burn blue? Who here is ready for Dallas Fuel versus Toronto Defiant? All right, everybody. Just a quick rundown of today's matches. It is going to be super exciting. I am super excited, and I think we're almost ready to kick things off. But how about you guys? Are you guys ready? Dallas, I said, are you ready? Thank you guys so much. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause for our casters, Uber and Mr. X. It's Morbin time, baby.
He got it in. I can't believe he actually went for the Morbin time call. Ladies and gentlemen, it feels pretty darn good to be back here in a LAN setting. It's been quite some time since we've got to see all of these teams, especially in a tournament format, go at it here on the stage of the Esports Stadium Arlington.
Yeah, and I'm excited because for a lot of these players, it's like some of their first experiences on LAN, playing in front of a crowd, and how that pressure kind of affects them, how some players will rise to the occasion. It'll be interesting throughout the weekend.
Yeah, a real fresh batch of rookies coming into a lot of our teams in the Overwatch League this year, but all of them looking pretty darn scary. This first matchup of the day, of course, is an interesting one. It's where our top seed, look, unsurprisingly, looks to make prey of some of our lower seeded teams coming in. And the Washington Justice, you know, we're definitely a team that we struggle to put our finger on throughout the Kickoff Clash qualifiers. Where do we place this team? What do we get from them on any given day?
Their performance has been all over the place. Sometimes they've been really strong. They have the talent top to bottom to really contend with a lot of the teams. And then sometimes they're just not there. They just don't show up in games that you expect them to take and win. So who knows what Justice we have that'll show up today.
That's right. Well, we're about to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Let us welcome to the stage the Washington Justice. Again, a team with a pretty hot start in this season. A team with incredible DPS players, and Mag, who was a rookie in his previous season, who proved himself beyond reasonable doubt. The fact of the matter is, this is not a team that we expect to be at 3 wins and 3 losses with a 0 map differential. Not even that, Matt. They barely scraped here into the Kickoff Clash. It almost went to a team like Boston.
Yeah, I mean, they barely got in. And when you look at the talent on this roster, like I said before, this is not a team that should be qualifying the last day to get into the tournament. Something of note, we have Assassin in the starting lineup today, so no Decay here to kick things off. So a bit of an adjustment. Don't know if we've actually, off the top of my head, of the games we've casted, I have not seen Assassin yet. so far in the Kickoff Clash, so a little bit of a late adjustment.
Yeah, featured heavily in a middling gear last year from the Washington Justin. We saw Assassin get quite often playing the sort of low economy, flanking roles. We saw plenty of that Sombra action from him. Some of it maybe we wish we hadn't. Some difficult games for that team as they tried to sort of work on that cohesion. But what a huge opportunity for Assassin to hit the stage and show us what he's made of for a second year. But again, you have to feel, Matt, the pressure's going to be on. Again, coming off the bench, not getting to play a lot of the games for this team, straight into the thick of things.
Yeah, I think Necro, though, and Johnny, he talked about on the desk, Happy has been so good for this team on the hit scan, and that's where a lot of the damage and a lot of your resources are going right now to your Soldier 76 players and players who play that role, to where if this frees you up to give Happy some more love, we know the type of things he can do and how dynamic of a player he is.
And you have to feel, if you're the Justice, you knew you'd be going up against a top table team. You fall outside of the top 4, so you know you are going to be selected by someone who wants to try and make a big statement early here in Arlington and punch through, make their way through this double elimination tournament. That obviously is the important part here, because if it goes wrong for the Justice today, they have an opportunity to redeem themselves. But you can see some of those nerves coming through on stage. This is a team that maybe even are still trying to find their identity as a roster, right? What do we see from Mag? Do we get to see him on this, really frightening Winston play? Can they play around him? Because one of the biggest criticisms we've had of Washington is that there doesn't seem to be a cohesive game plan at times, but they're going to be up against it now. Coming in at 6 wins and 0 losses at 13 map differential, it is your San Francisco Shock.
You want to talk a team that has it all. The Shock, right? With how good Violet has been playing in that more main support role. I know Finn has been insane. Finn for Rookie of the Year there. And I think Kaluge has fit in really nicely. He's played quite well, where he comes in a little bit later, right, where Super retires and picks up that tank role quite easily. And you think he's only going to get better with time.
First time we saw this team was on Ilios, I think in their very first map of this season, and we were blown away pretty quickly by just how frightening that looked, and they really wanted to set the pace of the game. Kaluge was a huge part of that game plan. That Winston play has been really, really dynamic so far. Now we've seen some rotations through the DPS roles, but Kilo and Proper is probably the more expected permutation of that for us. And like you said, in a very Ana-centric meta, where she is definitely the most powerful of those supports, Finn is right at home.
Yeah, and you try and find a weakness with this team, and it's difficult to find, right? They go undefeated during this stage. Like I mentioned, you're working in players like Cluj, like Sam, into the mix, Violet picking up a new role. To be this good this early, I think for the Shock is, probably not a surprise, right? But you probably are really happy with the progress the team has made, because you expect it to make more progress as the season goes.
It's quite the rebuild. And if you remember when Super departed this team, just before the season started, everyone said, okay, well, what's up with this Kaluge guy? What should we be expecting from this rookie player coming in for his first year?
You don't even call it a rebuild. It's really just a reload, right? They keep Violet. They were obviously going to keep Super, but you just put more talent around them, right? Upgrade at every spot across the board right now. And we'll see how Kilo and Proper play today, but if they've kind of come in and proved they're one of the best DPS duos in the league.
Right, we talked about Rookie of the Year candidates at this early stage, which we sort of love to do. A lot of people have definitely had Proper as part of that conversation. Again, this is the kind of matchup where he probably is hungering for a real Tracer head-to-head. He's wondering, where's Decay? They're going to sub him out and put him against me. That's where he wants to test himself. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a first of 3 series. It all begins on Ilios.
Yeah, and because we're in a tournament, the loser of the map will pick the next one. So that's why you don't see any of the other maps selected here just yet. The Shock, they are the higher seed, so they were able to pick map number 1. So Ilios is their pick. Like you mentioned, we've seen them on this map before with great results.
And for the Justice, it's really going to be a matter of playing around Mag. It definitely felt like there was a disconnect between the two sides of the pincer that many teams try and bring to bear in these dive compositions. What we're looking for is to see Assassin and Mag hit the same spot at the same time and eliminate those targets early in the round. It's going to be a ruined start for us here, which is going to be particularly interesting. An opportunity for, that long-range hit scan. I don't think we'll see Proper on the Widow here.
Yeah, it does give the opportunity for the Justice to play the Widowmaker. They highlighted how strong Happy has been on the Widowmaker thus far. an opportunity to play it if they would like to. So see what the Justice decide to do. It looks like right now, hovering over a composition that's going to be based around Doomfist with Reaper. So we'll get to see Mag on the Doom and Happy on the Reaper, and then you're also going to see a Moira here instead of an Ana. So they want to go fast, and they do go fast. The issue is they go right into a Helix rocket.
Not a great start for Assassin there as both teams try to contend for that right-hand side of the map here. Shock try to fold back a little bit. Violent Speed gets most of them out, and Kilo's at a respectful distance here. They lose Finn, but they snap back pretty hard.
What do you even do after you lose your Tracer, who is one of the bigger nuisances to the other team's supports? Right away, Assassin, I think he gets hit with some bullets and then a Helix rocket, and he is dead before he can make any type of impact in that fight. And we'll see now. You give Proper some space here.
What do you make of the Proper Widow just quietly?
Well, you're just going to give him so much space. Like, they can't really collapse on him, right? So it's going to be difficult. I mean, you see right there that Mag takes a big shot, has to use Power Block and just back up.
Mag hoping to have charged something up with that there as Proper has. Look at this space, so much to work with. Now the Justice look like they want to try and surge ahead, but Proper's already got in a safer, more entrenched position towards the coastline. Kilo also a lot of room to work with here. Somehow the Justice have to close the gap.
And they can't. In this position that they put themselves in, they just got hit with one biotic grenade. They have to wait up and get healed before even going back in.
Kilo forced to go for the biotic field. Even Mag is going to go down first in this fight. It's the Winston getting blown up here, but Happy finally gets to the soft underbelly of the Shock. He's having to dig Proper out here. San Francisco already working with 3, and Kaluj goes for the primal to stall a bit, but they have to cede control of the point.
Yes, they back off of the point. It's going to actually be the Coalescence use here towards the end for the Justice. So just felt that they needed that ultimate to push them over the line, as Proper will now move away from the Widowmaker and go over to Tracer. So if he's not able to pick up those headshots, right, drill people at range, when they close the gap, it's going to be advantageous. That's going to be a stick from Assassin. So after that first death, Assassin's starting to pick it up.
Yeah, this is what we're looking for from Assassin, to step into the shoes of Decay in this matchup. And all he had to do was find purchase on that Ana without Finn in the mix for San Francisco. It was dire straits indeed.
Now Kaluj now moves away from Winston and over to Doomfist. And I think when you look at Assassin versus Decay, right, we know how good Decay is, but you know, sometimes we've seen like he can make these hero plays, but also go off on his own, like flank a little bit, where Assassin I think is going to play more around the team here. Maybe it just kind of opens up a different play style for the Justice.
Finn again trying to stay safe, but takes too much damage, and Happy was able to find him. A sound barrier for the Rosten, and Justice means they can continue to pressure this advantage. Kilo tries to swing it around, though, with the tack visor. He's unable to find Mag there, and Happy realizes he's got to pull the trigger multiple times in quick succession, and it pays off. The Justice now sneak into the lead at 67-47.
And Kilo's going to bring out, it looked like he was going to bring out Ash for a second, as Ash we've seen played in the APAC region a decent amount, but they're going to concede. They're actually going to end up mirroring this composition with, look at how much percentage that Washington has on the clock. The Shock not in a great spot here in our first round.
Yeah, they're definitely conceding that Happy's causing them more trouble than they were expecting. Proper there finds a bit of a gimme as Opener's very low on HP out in the open. With a pulse bomb now, Proper's looking for a target that's not just going to fade away and shed that bomb. Forced to recall though, as the rocket punch is scary enough, even if it's not charged. But this is 95% and counting right now for the Washington Justice. There needs to be more here. Proper dispatches Assassin, but there's still 4 players in presence for the Justice. They might just give over control here and try and regroup around this Coalescence.
Yeah, you're better off backing out here if you're the Justice. Don't throw anything more into this. You just need one fight to secure this first round. And you can kind of use like the Reaper as a battering ram, right? Use the Coalescence behind the Reaper with the lifesteal already. There's not really anything they can do against that. Just has such a large HP pool.
The pulse bomb is big, it's important, but Happy's taken down. He cannot be healed up by Krillin. It's a rocket punch that gets rid of him. Now, most of the force behind the spear for the Justice is out of the picture. They're gonna have to sit back and wait for another opportunity.
He had to take a large chunk of damage coming in, as Doom does not do the type of damage that Doom does on live with the rocket punch, as had to take some damage, maybe didn't have the Wraith form up, the Coalescence wasn't out in time, but that's a huge pick that allows the Shock to win that fight for free pretty much, and now takes this to a one-fight game.
95% and counting, and now the Justice need to make it work without the Coalescence into 2 support ultimates. Man, I feel like they've dropped the spaghetti on this opportunity. Proper Okay, probing pulse bomb, to say the least. Here's that coalescence from Finn, though. He's a little concerned about Assassin's proximity, but another pulse bomb goes wide, and Kilo is taken down. The sound barrier comes up now just in time for the Justice. The Shocks is a little bit late. They've got to make do without Kilo, without most of their damage, and Happy's got a Death Blossom to use. But Kaluj, he's even the ledger. It's a 4v4 now with Mag going down, and you better believe Prophet's coming back to the fight. Death Blossom claims Violet here. Now Finn has to keep the rest of the Shock topped up as much as possible, but Happy's found yet another one here. In overtime, the Justice look to flip the point back, and the Shock are running on dregs here. Just 3 players standing, and they're forced away. Good start from the Justice.
No, we woke up this morning. I thought this one was going to be quick.
I mean, but before my cold shower, Matt, I didn't have any thoughts.
I had no thoughts in my cold shower this morning. But I think you see how the Justice are adjusting their playstyle, right, with Decay out of the game. Assassin, like you mentioned earlier, a little bit more of like a low economy type of player. You don't have to put as much resources in him.
He doesn't demand that.
He's going to play around Mag, right? I think this lineup for the Justice allows you to give Mag the resources he needs and Happy as well. And you can play more around those two players, play more of like a team-oriented game. I also think that Doomfist comp at the beginning really kind of threw the Shock off. I think the Shock maybe expected them to match with the Widowmakers because you have such a great Widowmaker in Happy. But the Justice come out and look really good early on.
The Justice have a Tracer into an Echo here, which was sort of the first adaptation we saw from DPS here, more that Tracer against the Doomfist Echo setups. But Prop is pretty fearsome and one of the few players, alongside Pelican, for example, that are still pushing the Echo where they can. Kalush tries to take control of that middle map early on and makes that dive. Prop is going to be looking to stick to a target here, and Assassin will just harass them while he can.
Yeah, just apply pressure. And now you've kind of split this Echo off as Proper needs to be really careful. He's going to try and collapse on some of the players with Kaluj, but yeah, they're able to get the supports here in the back. Look, they push the 76 and the supports all the way back into this alley. Really nice collapse there from the Shock.
And you can see how these two teams value different options in that first engagement. The Shock say, okay, we back away, we know that we can just sort of dive on 1 or 2 players, whereas Assassin and Mag were lingering pretty close to the point. They wanted that first cap, so yeah, they get 18%. The Shock have control of the map now.
Yeah, and that jump from the high ground to the high ground from Kaluj, that forces the supports and Happy into that type of position. And then he actually drops down, and Proper goes over the top of the building, and they set that up really nicely.
Getting a kill on opener is huge. The burst from Proper, instrumental. Kaluj currently doused in the body grenade, so we'll try and stay scarce for the time being. Assassin, beware! Almost forced a recall there as Proper was looking to make use of the... Oh my! That's not supposed to happen.
You also think now, round 1, maybe a little bit of a wake-up call for the Shock. Not gonna be smooth sailing here through the Justice, as the Justice now have to back up. But Shock look much better here on this second point, as you'll have a nano boost for the Shock, a few other ultimates coming online. But I think this is an opportunity for the Justice. You have your nano, you have your pulse bomb here early on, before some of these big ultimates come up for the Shock. Can you use them to get some picks?
Finn trying to maintain sidelines here, especially to Proper, who'll be harassed by Happy and Krillin as he approaches. Pulse here for Assassin. Finn a little bit isolated there on the point. How do the Shock respond? It looks like they favor a counter dive here. Assassin expends the pulse bomb to get rid of the Ana, and Kaluj doesn't have a lot of healing to work with now. It's going to have to be the Primal Rage instead. He needs to prevent Happy from getting value from this nano visor, but Kaluj is just trying to sow as much discord as he can, and Kilo in a safe spot is able to go for this tack visor and maintain control of the point, no less. That's some slick stuff from the young gun.
Yeah, it looks like Happy is so far behind enemy line. So yeah, he dies to Kilo as they go all the way back to get him. So gonna have to wait a few seconds for Happy to come off spawn, as nothing has gone right for Washington on this point.
Just that first cap. Now they have to make something happen in these last few seconds. Happy's not sure if someone's waiting for him. He sees the coast is clear. Needs to drop and get value from this tactical visor. He's gonna let it go now, but what targets will present themselves? The Shock are just gonna batten the hatches on the point for the most part here, but Violet's been taken down. Assassin's able to get in there and live up to his name. Looks like the Shock are gonna be happy with the lead they have. Give it up.
Yeah, is they up to not invest those 2 big ultimates, the duplicate and the sound barrier? They'll come back into this next fight. They get mirror with a sound barrier for Washington, but still, they're playing on the back foot here. They know that they cannot lose another fight, or they will lose this point, as you're proper, who do you try and copy here? I mean, you can go for the Winston, you can try and get like the 76 up on the high ground.
Ana, as usual.
The Ana, yeah, the Ana's been a popular pick as of late.
2 sleep darts is pretty busted. There it is, duplicate the Ana. Proper tries to go for this sleep. Bionic grenade, though, even more important in this context, arguably. That sound barrier from the Justice is timed well by Opener, but they lack a player. They lost Max so early on here, and they're going to be hard-pressed to try and retake. That Bio doesn't quite connect for Proper, so he's back in Echo form.
Yeah, the Ana gives you some extra healing, another CC, right, with another sleep dart, another biotic grenade, and then if you're able to build up towards it, a second nano boost potentially in a fight, right? You nano 2 targets, as that is it's actually crazy that the Justice got 54%. It seemed way more one-sided that round.
Well, let's be realistic. The first 20% they got because the Shock chose to take a fight off point and get that 3K.
True.
And then the second one, well, there's a good pulse bomb on Finn, but Finn is playing point, trying to maintain sightlines to both, Proper and Collusion. Eventually, he's just sort of bodied by a pulse bomb.
It's scary going into well, though. Like, this is a point that is so up in the air, kind of coin flip, because you can stall it for so long. There's obviously environmental kill potential here in the middle of the map. And then it becomes more increasingly difficult to take back. You have the Soldier 76 and other fast heroes in the mix that can get back and just touch point and keep that going.
One more round to settle this first map on Ilios. The Shock definitely looking like they've managed to get rid of some of those early round jitters. It'd be Proper starting on the Tracer here. Echo a little too vulnerable to cross the expanse between either side of this map. Okay, a recall there for Assassin. Needs to be careful now. Kilo is knocked off of the high ground, and Kaluge wants to stake his claim to it.
You can't really stress enough how important this map win would be for the Justice. It gives them obviously tons of confidence going into the rest of the series. It also is a bit scary for the Shock, right? We talk about players playing at like their first LAN in front of the crowd, like you're the overwhelming favorite, right? You lose the first map to a team that barely got in. The pressure is all on you in that capacity, right? Nobody comes into this match expecting the Justice to take it. If you're able to take this first, that is a sick kill there from Proper. You'd feel great for Washington. Washington, though, getting mopped up.
Nice little sleep dart there from Krillin, able to stay Proper off, but he recalls instantly and is in position to deal death. Unlucky for Krillin there, and already Mag had to jump straight out. Oh my, this is a little sketchy for the Justice early.
Yes, a Bionic Grenade and a few kills follow it up there. It really starts with that Tracer battle. That's kind of what you miss with Decay not being in the lineup, right? Is Decay can take those Tracer battles, and one of the best Tracers in the world, right? He'll come out on top in a good amount of those, where Assassin, it's a really tough spot. The guy hasn't played all stage, comes in, now has to play on LAN against the #1 team in the league right now, and has to match a player like Proper on the Tracer. It's just a really tough task.
Happy trying to get a bit of a vantage point here. The attack visor still a little ways off, but he can definitely cause some problems, and nicely done. Snaps up Violet across the map. Mag got the nano, although he hardly needs it. Happy's little perch play allows him to rack him up.
And that's a huge win for the Justice, because you see just that first fight win for the Shock gets them above 50%. So you imagine with just like what the Nano invested there, you're going to be able to use some of these ultimates to keep this going for a while. If you are the Justice, you'll be able to invest that sound barrier, primal to keep it going, attack visor to push people back. You just have to be careful. Cannot let Finn hit one of these massive sleep darts on the 76 on the high ground.
Kaluge is probably going to get the nano here, and he does. He'll be able to save that for the primal. May not even need it. Good pressure here on Krillin. There's got to be a sleep dart down to sound barrier for the Justice, but they're lacking Happy, and Mag is also gone. Potentially even down the well. Killer doesn't have to use a tactical visor, and this is the worst case scenario for the Justice. The Shock hold on to attack and primal rage here.
I wonder if Mag just didn't get the primal off, because things were actually starting to turn a little bit for the Justice, where they end up picking up a kill, they trade, they're then going to use the sound barrier, force the sound barrier out on both sides. Mag could have potentially used the primal there, stayed alive in that small house, and then you would have had Happy coming back off the respawn with visor. You may have been good.
If you're getting knocked down the well, you can also primal and then use the jump reset to get out in time as well. He may have been asleep.
They're finding these Shock supports off on their own on the side. They've done a nice job collapsing on them.
Yeah, Finn especially takes pretty aggressive angles to get big bios. Kaluge going to force the legs to start pumping as Happy makes a quick exit, but Finn gets picked off again. Okay, Kaluge going to try and make use of the fact that everyone is grouped up in this room, but he's put to sleep. Much better from the Justice. The Shock, some of their sloppiness and positioning gets exposed. Kilo, no value from that tack visor here. Shock will have to give up the point.
It's happened like 2-3 fights now that we've seen Mag he'll spot Finn and Violet over to the side. And they like to play so aggressive, like you mentioned. He's able to jump right on top of them and make a play. They jump in now, the Justice, they get really low.
Okay, tack visor from Happy, nano boost as well. Everybody immediately going to try and vacate the premises. Finn, though, just a little bit too slow. The Shock may be pushing a little too deep here. And yeah, they're going to get reset hard.
I'm surprised the Justice pushed in that deep. I mean, they are in a position here where, you could have played near the point, taken a fight at any type of position you wanted to, and when they push in deep there, Happy and Mag are both hit with a biotic grenade from Finn, and it looks like they were going to be in some trouble. They had to end up using the nano and the visor. It's Assassin,
spotted.
Not too sneaky, able to get spotted out pretty fast.
Ghillie suit cosplay needs a little bit of work, apparently. So he's forced back, but he still has that pulse bomb to try and get in Finn's direction. Finn can deploy that nano boost, though, ideally, before he goes down. Pulse, it's a big one. Did it stick? No. Looks like Krillin's going to be able to dash away from it there. And Kaluge gets that nano boost here. Takes control of the side room. Sound barrier now going to be deployed. He's trying to get in deep, but it's going to be booped back instantly. Open it a little low, but they've lost proper. Nicely done by the Justice to snap him up there. Helix rocket across the map. Happy getting pressured a little bit, but Kaluge is in deep trouble. Whoa, he flips the point back somehow. By a little bit of time, thankfully. Hit with a biting grenade, but he's got that primal rage, and Violet's going to be able to get Happy. No Finn for the Shock, though. Proper chasing, looking for either Krillin or Opener here. Needs one of them.
So is the Shock in control of the point? Like you mentioned, they do flip it. It's a huge kill by Violet on a Happy. You don't have the 76 in this fight for the Justice.
Kilo under pressure, Assassin probing. Krillin with that nano boost, but under pressure himself as Propper's looking for that art of pick-off. It's Happy once more! Happy with the nano! It's 2, and that's got to be enough! The fade forward from Finn, it's fruitless, and the tack visor is a victory dance. The Justice start off with one in the ledger.
And this is the tough thing about picking the Washington Justice. Flip a coin, right? You get a Justice team that they have a ton of potential, and they show up and they live up to that potential some days they don't. A duo we didn't really shout out that much during that first map. I thought the supports on the Justice played great. Being able to stay alive against the Kaluge and proper dive, that really ruins a lot of other teams, but Krillin and Opener found a way to keep each other up.
Good looks for the Justice here, a bit of a different look on this roster, but it's paying off thus far. Let's see if they can hold it together in map 2 right after this. Watch out, everybody. It looks like the Justice rolled a nat 20 on their gamer check today. We've got a better look from them than we've had in a little while. First map goes their way against the top-seeded San Francisco Shock. With a roster, a lineup that we didn't expect to see, with Assassin coming in doing a bang-up job on that Tracer.
Yeah, it's a huge win there for the Justice. Gives themselves a lot of confidence going in to the rest of the series. Definitely rattles the Shock a little bit. Shock, obviously a championship team in the past. Still have Krusty, you still have Violet, you still have some of the people who have been around that, but really an entirely new crew. So how can you bounce back? Being the #1 seed, it's a lot of pressure.
And again, having some of their positioning errors exposed a little bit in that last round. We talked up, I guess, the back line of the Justice before the break, but it's what we're talking about, sort of, the fact that they're able to really nab Finn early in a lot of these fights.
It's tough when you get in the live environment to play the same way you play at home, just because you're even feeding off the crowd a little bit, right? Like, you hear the crowd, go crazy when you make some of these plays, and you're trying. You may not realize that you're trying to just put yourself in a position to make those big impact plays and to really make a difference and to play a little bit out on the side maybe for the supports. And I think it was just mostly the Justice did a nice job capitalizing. So it'll be Decay coming in for Assassin here in map #2. So we can talk a little bit about map #2. It's the Shock pick. Obviously, they lose map #1. They will take us to Eichenwalde.
Decay. Obviously, someone who's shown us a lot of that sort of Tracer action alongside Happy. We won't need to be playing the Reaper. Sam gets something for Kilo here as well. Someone who we've seen make a pretty big impact on San Francisco, especially in the Genji role. A lot of teams have sort of pivoted away from using Genji extensively since our first couple of weeks. But Sam featured in San Francisco's debut match and looked very, very good. And one of the bigger sort of the highlight points, sort of following up a lot of the pressure Kaluj was trying to apply here. So their dive is still well and truly intact with the substitution.
Yeah, and I wonder what he'll be into play, because so you mentioned teams have moved away from the Genji for a lot of different reasons. Do you see him play the Genji? Do they fall back on like a Genji-based composition here on Eichenwalde? There's a lot of like high ground you can definitely play for it. Do you try and play like an Echo in the mix? It'll be interesting what the Shock have cooked up here.
The Decay currently is just getting onboarded into the server now. It's brought out from that substitution. You can see Happy here, who caused a lot of problems, especially for Kaluj here. But overall, on Ilios, this guy performed a Flenner deadlift, Matthew, accounting for at least half of his team's final blows himself. The Reaper play, outstanding.
He's tremendous. Doesn't have like I would say like as much of a kind of like fanfare as somebody like a Prophet or somebody has, but like you look at like just like mechanical skill, like just how plays the game. Happy is up there with the best. I mean, think about some of the clips you saw last year when he was playing the Hanzo for the Houston Outlaws, like some tremendous plays out of him, in the past on Widowmaker, even recently on Widow. Just really, really strong in terms of mechanical skill, and I think you put him with some other players around him that can free up space for him to operate, you'll see games like that.
Yeah, I mean, Happy has turned, we saw that clip, of course, of him getting jugged and him still began to find a kill. Now you're afraid of Primal Rage at Happy because you're just giving him even more sidelines to shoot people with, even if you're belting his head in with Winston. So.
I wouldn't go that far. I'd still say you Primal Rage him. I would dare him to hit that shot again, but...
Saw him walking today. He was, very sort of dialed in. I think this team definitely feels like they have a lot to prove and, probably know that they're a lot better than what they've been able to show in our online play so far.
There is zero pressure on the Justice coming into this. They are going up against a team that went undefeated in the stage, looked rock solid. They come in, they get in, right, because of Boston, right, and they're not able to
Boston don't beat the fuel,
they don't beat the fuel. And you're just kind of playing with house money at this point. You take the first map, you're like, okay, like maybe we can make something out of this. I also would be scared if I'm other teams. Like even if they lose, right, it's a double elimination bracket. They go down the loser bracket. Who would want to see a Justice that's like playing well or up to the potential?
Yeah, I don't think anybody would be fancying that. Seeing them on display now. And here comes our second map of the series. It will be Eichenwalde. So again, both teams maybe expect them still to gravitate towards dive-based compositions. The substitutions here probably don't change that expectation too much.
No, I mean, we have seen teams run like Zarya-based compositions here. I don't think it's
Mag or Kaluj is going to prefer that, I wonder. Probably not.
I think there's a better chance you would see the shop run it like Kalu should be able to play it, right? You can play like almost all the tanks. I'd be shocked if we saw from the Justice, especially with Mag in the lineup, right? It wouldn't be with Mag.
Kalu's Diva, dirty in scrims in a preseason. Dirty. Keep an eye out for that one. I don't think we'll see too much Diva action in this tournament.
How long are you going to tell people to keep an eye out for that one?
Until it happens.
The end of the season?
Just keep your eyes out.
Keep your eyes on
Ear to the ground.
Yep.
Keep your eyes open. You know, you might be surprised by what some of these teams have to bring, even if it's not Diva.
But you cusses right in some of these lines in the back. Down.
Hey, you don't mind the study? Working on it, bro. He's going to be ready. Don't you worry. So this defensive lineup here for the Justice. No change. Krillin again going for his sniper cosplay. Someone should tell him his gun's poking out of the bush.
Yeah, just a little bit. So you'll have Decay on Tracer. So interesting that you bring Assassin from map number 1, take him out and then put Decay back in. This does give you a better type of like head-to-head Tracer matchup, right? With Decay going up against Proper. It'll be interesting how they work teamwork-wise around this. Is interesting. So Sam will play the Reaper and it'll be Proper on the Genji here to kick things off.
It's Lucio Moira.
Yeah.
It's very, very dive-centric. It's a full commit setup here, for sure. Proper's already managed to wrap his ray around. Shock, a little unsure about where they want to... They're probing here. They're obviously looking for Krillin to be out of position, hope to try and dive him. Kalush goes in, Mag follows up, the counter dive is there. The Bionic Grenade is pretty darn nasty. Proper down as a result of that, and Kalush, I mean, they don't have any burst healing. The Shock, this is the problem. If something goes wrong in the approach, it's really hard for them to recover.
And another Bionic Grenade. Krillin has been playing really strong today in that honor roll for the Justice, as it's kind of the thing you were worried about from going into this season. Pulse Bomb to the wall, gets nothing. The Shock will have to back up, though. The benefit of running the Moira is just the amount of just raw healing she can output, and you're able to just build up this Coalescence rather fast, right? You're going to have it probably going in this fight.
Yeah. Support ultimates building all fairly quickly, all things considered. Finn, yeah, maybe trying to break LOS from this. He has to fade away from the tactical visor. Is Happy built that quick as well? The Coalescence fizzles, but Proper's at least able to trade that kill. Happy has gone down, but Mag lands on the Genji. And this is going to be a bit of a messy one, ladies and gentlemen. Violet went for the beat. He went for the beat. I think he was inside a Winston bubble. Kalush didn't benefit from that at all.
Nobody did. As I gotta say, I mean, this might be the best we've seen Krillin play. Like to start off a series. Right there, hits a 3-player Bionic Grenade. They get 2 kills off of it. Then Kalush jumps in with the Primal and he sleeps him like a second after. Just sick play there from Krillin, which ends up allowing the Justice to hold on defense, Mitch. And they just use that Nano and the Visor here. They'll have some ultimates coming in again.
Violet gotta be fuming about that one. The beat did not work at all. They're going to find the way towards Happy, though. Proper doesn't allow him to escape. Sound barrier now for the Justice. Mag doesn't get it this time, but he has at least a Primal Rage to keep him going a little bit longer. Kalush pops Primal himself, and Proper's able to find his second in the fight. This time, it's Krillin. That's a big one. Back to the point, he goes to force Decay out of position, and the Shock can move in.
I'd love to see a clip of that. Like, who woke Kalush up? Kalush was on the ground sleeping. It looked like Decay like popped in there for a second. I don't know if he like fired and actually hit him. Maybe like he hit him with like 1 bullet and woke him up. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Waking up that Winston is not ideal in that scenario. As you'll now have Happy on Echo here going into this next stage of the map. So no Tracer on the other side, no 76. So Echo, there's just verticality here to begin with, but Echo now being able to get above could provide a huge damage boost.
There's no Ana. You really have very little to harass Happy with here. So a lot of freedom for the Echo for the Justice. Will allow Happy to maneuver into positions to secure those insta-kills. Jump up from Kalush, doesn't commit here. Sam, on the other hand, though, wants a bit of argy-bargy.
Oh, yeah, Proper off to the side. He gets a little bit low. Bionic Grenade, they come in with the focusing beam, take him out, but Violet with that aggressive support play picks up 1.
Happy in position to make another burst kill here, but Sam and Finn explode. Coalescence and Death Blossom get used here, and there's a feeling maybe that San Francisco, while they don't exactly have a counter to their Echo, if they can strike before Happy's in position, it doesn't matter what the Echo does.
And they just put pressure, loads of pressure onto Mag, right? With that Reaper and the Genji coming in, does a decent amount of burst with the dash and whatnot. It just made life really difficult for Mag, as that'll be a sound barrier dropped here by the Shock as they want to engage with the sound barrier and the beat.
Blade is here, but Proper is definitely, he's generating a lot of threat, to be sure. Sam was the one that was able to follow up and find those final blows. Shock make use of that sound barrier, Proper going in. And they get what they came for. Happy there, not able to make it back.
Yeah, so sound barrier plus Blade there for the Shock to push up. They get the payload close here, but I think you're going to have a contest with the Justice, and the Justice have enough here to invest to win this.
Decay's looking for that back line there. Happy, not where he wants to be right now. He can't get through the door. Body blocked by Collusion. Injury out to Insult as he's eliminated by the Winston. Beautiful stick there, Sam. Looks like he didn't have a Wraith Walk to get away. Decay starts to turn up the heat, and Mag is there with the Primal Rage. Great time for the Justice to strike again. Collusion is headed for the kills.
Yeah, and this is toughest part of the map to secure, especially with the composition that you're going to be running for the Shock. You want to like brawl out in these close quarter spaces, but like look at the ground that they're going to have to cover. You're going to have to go inside of this castle, maybe take some of the high ground, then drop down, right? You don't want to like wrap all the way to the bridge.
Mag, not where he wants to be, can't charge up a power block. Can't charge up a full rocket punch either. Just tries to use it to maybe reposition. Collusion's put to sleep again. Kulan's able to find him with a sound barrier. Will help the Justice weather this, but they're not in position. Sam will hold the door and yep. Mag's going to be denied a chance to touch here. It will be contested with a meter or so to go. Focusing Bin was able to work a kill down. Happy's found yet another one. Deadlift in the first map and now Savior in the second. It's another one for Happy. The Echo popping off.
Yes, you just have Proper here as he will fall. So you're down to 30 seconds on the clock. Good hold here from the Justice thus far. I gotta say though, Mitch, really good ultimates here for the Shock. Coalescence, you'll be able to follow this up. You can go straight through the castle. You got a Death Blossom there. They have to play on the payload. This is definitely looking like one that the Shock could get this objective and push it forward.
Proper hunts for Decay, wants to force him back. Pulse Bomb already deployed to no effect here. Here it is, Coalescence going to be used. Proper's already set up on the car, but the Death Blossom inside the castle claims one, and then Sam's able to find Happy at long range. Mag, he's in deep trouble, and Decay can't do a thing about it. You look on as the Shock sail home for that second checkpoint.
Yeah, they end up getting Violet before Violet can end up using the beat, but it doesn't matter. They just kind of ran past everybody, went and played for the objective. You had a kill that happened on that high ground. That was Happy taking out Violet. And you had another player there, I believe Decay. Doesn't make the difference as Decay is still behind right now, so we'll get a view from Decay as he's gonna try and make a play on the flank.
Sam knows he's there, but the Bardic Grenade careening into the Shock is more of an issue than Decay's presence, to be sure. Another fat one from Krillin puts the Shock in a bit of an awkward position. They're not fully backed out here either. Sam's given no choice. He sent Express back to spawn.
Another 3-player Bionic Grenade from Krillin on these players onto the bridge. As you've done such a nice job, Washington, holding for a lot of the time, for a lot of these points that you look at the clock, the Shock do not have much time left. I mean, 30 seconds at this point. If you're the Justice, you win this next fight, you hold it to like a spot where it's like basically just around this corner is their best progress. You're in a great spot to potentially win the map.
Sleep's gone here, but for Krillin, but he hung on for so long, he bought enough time for Happy to find two. One focusing, two sticky, and the Shock again rolled. This is their last chance, Matt. They're running out of time.
And the Justice are winning these fights, Mitch, without investing anything. All 5 ultimates coming in here towards the end to counter any type of mad rush that comes through.
Sound barrier's going to be there. The touch is not. In San Francisco, their run ends here.
So if you're Washington, at least you know you have the win condition. You know exactly where it needs to be. You don't have to complete the map. You don't have to get it all the way around the corner. So, some Shock fans looking quite worried.
Yeah, for good reason. Interesting, they really played this Lucio Mori composition pretty hard. They really wanted to force this. Even when they were, dealing with an Echo, for example, it seemed like there was never an inclination to go back, bring the Soldier into their composition, work some hit scan pressure in. They really wanted to play this sort of death ball, this a very aggressive composition. And Washington outlasts them. They've got the experience and the composure to sort of deal with that, you know, real impulse that the Shock trying to play on their first push.
And interesting, at least to come out here, yeah, on defense, you're going to have Sam playing the 76. So this is a role we usually see like either Kilo or Proper take up for this team, but Sam played the Soldier because you want Proper on that Tracer, but leads me to believe they want Sam's like flexibility for like lots of different heroes over the course of this map, and he'll be the one that'll be switching most of the time. But difficult matchup, man, if you're going to go head-to-head against Happy.
Happy, don't have the stats on me, but I'm pretty sure he was putting up a similar performance to that map number 1. A lot of multi-kill scenarios at the hands of that Echo in these fights, and the Shock didn't really have the tools to deal with it. Justice are out the gates once more. This time a little bit more of a conservative approach here.
If you're the Justice, I don't think, at least in my opinion, you don't mind mirroring this, right? With how you played today in this type of matchup. I think you're totally fine with that.
Yeah, your execution's looking good right now. You know you favor yourself, especially when you set a win condition. That's pretty comfortable. Capping point A though, first order of business for the Justice. They take about 30 seconds to get in position, but this puts Decay within striking distance, and I heard that Sleep Dart go off. Finn needs to make himself scarce, but it's another bio to start the fight. Mag descends on Collusion, flattens him.
Well, the thing is like they're jumping right on top of Finn, and he's under so much pressure and he's so low that he's forced to constantly use his Biotic Grenade on himself. And as soon as the dive comes in, it's Collusion proper. They're constantly getting hit with these Biotic Grenades from Krillin. So they are so backbreaking, as that is basically instantly capped there, point A, by the Justice, as 5 minutes and 20 to get checkpoint B. It's like an eternity.
It's so simple what the Justice are pulling off here. Get close enough that one dive takes you, into the face of your target. Find Finn, pressure him down, and Krillin just hits every Biotic Grenade. This angle, by the way, is not easy to hit them from, and yet he's opening up these huge opportunities.
Just both teams kind of jockeying for position at this moment. I think the Justice is probably just trying to game plan on where they're going to attack. You have Collusion up on the high ground. Lots of players to your side, but they're making pretty decent payload progress, right? Like, nothing's really happening. Both teams taking chip damage. This will be a nano on a Collusion. This means it's go time.
Happy with a Bionade. This is the best chance for Proper, but he's been eluded the entire time. Twinkle Toes Happy. He's able to get away. Finn again, not so lucky. It's another Biotic Grenade opener from Krillin. I mean, sorry, Proper got his ankle snapped there, big time.
Yeah, it's the supports. They're not able to keep the supports alive. Well, typically what the Shock are able to do is, like, they're so good with their dive, with Collusion, Proper, and, Sam when he's on the Genji, that they're able to take out the support so fast on the other team and make it back. And that's not happened today for them against the Justice, where you're seeing Krillin live for so long, opener as well, and that provides so much time for Decay and Mag to make these plays.
Proper worried about a point-blank Helix Rocket insta-kill there. He went deep. 3:42 to get this next checkpoint. So much time to work with. This time Opener's the one who's going to be hit with a bio, and it's a sound barrier only for 2. Man sleeping on the job right now, so Finn stepped up in this fight, and Krillin gets bowled over as Proper finds that flank. Nice cleanup for the Shock here, and they need to do this consistently, especially with how close that cart got from Decay.
Yeah, it's both Soldier 76s are just like completely out of that fight. Happy was like all the way back by his spawn, and I think Sam was like kind of just playing an off angle, like waiting for him to take like a one-on-one on the side. They end up both sneaking past each other, or maybe just kind of give it up on that, but fight without a lot of damage, for both teams really. 76 is just putting out insane damage in this build.
Okay, once again Decay trying to draw someone back to the card. Has to be a very quick recall there for Proper. Decay might have to reciprocate in a moment and take a health back instead. Proper is here on this Tracer to keep Decay in check, at least. So far, that seems like a tall order.
It looks like they're trying to set up for a Visor play. Yeah, that's going to be Happy on a flank with a Visor, and he's going to get Finn and Proper in, drop down, and live.
Some fancy footwork again from Happy. There was a attack visor there from Sam as well, but it looks like nothing presented itself, and Mag was there with the nano boost, and here it is. The Justice A stone's throw from victory in their second map in this series.
They have 3 minutes and 49 seconds for 32 meters. I mean, and you see, like, the cart doesn't even have to get to the hard part of this push, right? You know, it's usually that second corner that's the toughest thing. Sam is asleep. They're going to drop a
great
wasted bubble. Nice play there from Kaluj.
It would be so easy just to dive that soldier and eliminate him instantly. What a stick from Popper. Okay, more of that required from San Francisco, but for now it'll act as a release valve.
So you're going to have to back up a little bit. They end up using the nano here because you don't have the luxury of just holding on to ultimates if you are the Shock. So 310 available. Just like how we saw Proper open up that fight with a big pulse bomb onto Krillin. You know, Decay could change the game here with a big pulse bomb. You know, onto one of the supports could be a game changer.
Mad with Primal. Violent hoping to try and build this sound barrier as quick as he humanly can. It's Sam ordered away by Mag's dive. Counter dive here for San Francisco. Kalu's going to come in for the Primal here, and they do get happy. Another setup there from Finn.
Yeah, Kaluj gets slept, but Proper coming from the other side. 2 big kills from Proper in fights early, back to back. Decay ends up using that pulse bomb and gets nothing, so starting to mount a proper defense here for San Francisco. You're going to have a sound barrier available in this next fight. What is the play here from Washington? You know, you could kind of use your sound barrier, then maybe use Primal. At that point, you'd have a nano because you're nano happy in that type of situation. Would be a big investment if you're going to do that.
Nano on Kaluj here after he dove. Great reactive play from Krillin there. Sound barrier now, it looks like it's on for young and old. The Justice are headed in. Not a great position to be in right now. If you're Sam, it needs to find elimination there. It's only Proper that gets one. A pulse bomb for Proper. He needs to go huge here. No connection on that one. There's no one to touch the car. Proper, can he get back? It's going to be Kaluj here, but Proper's been taken down now. Just the Doom 50 power blocks, but he's forced away from the car. And that's all she wrote here in the second map. The Justice have to shock under the thumb.
A surprise for the first 2 maps. You know, maybe something in the water here that Justice like. They had to relocate to Dallas. I mean, they go up 2-0 here against the Shock. So much pressure on San Francisco, but you know, the players on Washington have turned up to another level today.
Krillin looks incredible, Matt. He is just dialed in right now. A huge part of the Justice's success so far. They're a step away from sweeping the #1 seed in the first match of the week. Unreal. Stick around to see if that's going to be the story or if the Shock can strike back. And private leaderboards are here, everybody. That's right. Download the Overwatch League mobile app on Google Play or the App Store to make your predictions, compete with friends, and share your fandom. Don't know how your pick'ems went for this first matchup. I think Avral's already being smug about it in our WhatsApp group. He claims to have made this 3-0 pred for the Justice match.
He did not.
He's full of it. That's fine. We'll let him go. He's stuck in Australia.
You know these Reddit analysts, right? I mean, they're always right, but you know they never got the pick'ems to back it up.
Oh, now you do. Now you do. I mean, the shock, Matt, may have descended into DEFCON 1 territory here. Looks like they're, I mean, they're getting pumped.
Yeah.
They're getting pumped.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this, it's just being in this live environment, right? Like Dallas Fuel talked a little bit about it, right? They ended up losing to Houston at the beginning of the season. They just talked about like the adjustment to being back on stage and the crowd, and it's just I mean, you could not have two wildly different environments than just kind of like playing from your apartment, your home, your practice room, right?
Everything out here, when you're playing, it feels like everything goes so quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't have time to think about your settings, desk height, all this stuff. Like, you have to hope that you have that sorted out in advance. Sam subbed out here. Obviously, we saw him on the Reap, we saw him on the Soldier, a couple different things on Eichenwalde. Kilo back in alongside Proper.
It's a tough position, I think, to be in, where you make these substitutions as well. They're trying to put your players in the best position and put your team in the best position. Have a player come in now, like you played map 1, you sat, now you're back in. The game is on the line, right? #1 seed. Currently, you still have the loser bracket, but still not a good look. It's tough, especially in that damage dealer role when you're going up against players like Happy and Decay, who at any moment they could be like the best player in the server. Like it's just like they just like flip a switch and like they're clicking on all cylinders at one point, and they could be the best player in the lobby. With players that have that type of potential, it's tough. This is another shot pick as well as we go to Dorado.
And it will be their last one, even if they win this map. I won't get to pick any more of them because
that's a good point. Because if they were to lose, if they were to lose a map, they would not be able to pick the next one because they would have lost the series.
That's right. That was not the angle I was shooting for.
Yeah, you should start a YouTube series on analysis. I think it'd go great.
No. There's a ton of Overwatch League talent.
You don't want to infringe on Johnny and Custom Market.
Can you imagine if I started cutting his lunch?
Oh,
guy's going to hit me with a bloody mackerel.
Yeah, you'll have to keep doing those workout things.
Hey, speaking of workouts, San Francisco have to work it out now. Bringing Kilo in here as a widow option, Matt, but they'd have to be up against Happy on Dorado.
In a game like this, though, right? You're down to the wire. Like, you know, obviously I think Dorado is a great map pick for them, but a lot of this relies on like Widowmaker play, and it's like, do you want to rely on, you know, somebody coming off the bench to play against Happy on the Widowmaker who's been in all series and who's playing well right now? It's a tall task to ask Kilo to live up to that. I mean, it'd be really impressive if he's able to do it.
Happy after accounting for at least half, in fact more than half of his team's final blows in that first map, has not slowed down. The echo play on Eichenwalde was pretty punishing here. San Francisco make the reposition to the high ground. And they'll leave Finn and Violet here.
Yeah, now you'll see Kilo switch over to the Widowmaker, and then both teams run the Brig on this map. Brig pretty good on this map to help protect the Widowmaker and the on-up on the high ground. Also, like, the speed isn't as essential in areas of the map. I mean,
Happy already handing out haircuts. Collusion proper here will be the ones to shepherd the cart forward now, while the Shock at least has that high ground set up early on. Definitely denies the Justice from trying to play a high ground sort of defensive dive setup, which many teams have opted for. Kilo sidelines here are a little limited until the map opens up for him, so right now it's a lot of keyhole shooting.
I also like that the Justice are starting this off on the defense first. You stop them here, and you know, you put them in a really tough position, which is really demoralizing for the Shock going into round 2, right?
Feels oppressive,
yeah.
Fighting up Kilo against this setup. See Kilo, like, I mean, he'll get pressured. He should have supports in the vicinity. Again, having to, I mean, right now, he's not really covering any of those sight lines, and Decay is able to harass, go back, annoy Kilo a little bit, and just start rotating through here, but that's a good start. The Shock make the dive work, and even if Happy finds proper with headshot, no less, Opener and Krillin are down. The healing is non-existent for the Justice presently.
You do still have Mac here with a Primal Rage, and you still have Decay on the flank, as both of those players do tons of damage right now.
Kilo finding Decay with a poison mine. That's the problem with no healers.
He had already used recall too. We have a rally in the mix here for the Shock, as they feel it's really important to get the card over the line.
Happy, that's another Genji kill. Jeffrey's found an honor. That's 2 for Happy. He's entrenched. And that card ain't moving for the time being. Kalush tries to limp away, but Decay drags him down.
The thing with having Decay in here as well, Decay can just kind of play on his own. We see him do it so much. Just kind of goes in these long flanks, like taking like fights over on the side alone. In this type of game where you can put so much pressure on Kilo alone, you don't even have to have Matt back there to do it. I mean, look at these shots. Has the benefit of the infrasight, but still, straight to the head.
Look at the bio. Bionade on Proper and Kalush right now. Mag might be sleeping it off here. Kalush is going to go for that Primal. They're giving Proper a nano boost now as well. Oh my! That's cold!
Yeah, that is some filthy stuff. It's, it'll be the Shock. Take this first point. Decay kills Kilo on the other side of the map, right? So you see, it seems like the Widow's taking this like battle, you know, right up against each other. Decay just on this flank. Like, I wonder if he's actually just going to try and spawn camp Kilo at this point.
Yeah, why not continue to harass that Widow as much as you can?
You just see how far away, like, Kilo has to be so scared that he's just going to get run up on by Decay in any second.
He can use, obviously, that sort of high ground on the arch, where it's really hard for Decay to harass him, but still frustrated to have to constantly make concessions for a Tracer that's hunting you. Recall there, Girl Scout Cookie deployed, and Infrasight for Kilo to stave off his attacker.
And you have to be thinking, potentially, for the Justice, do you want to invest Rally and play on the card or try and make a play? Because you're allowing the Shock to set a pretty good time. That's exactly what you're going to see.
Kilo grappling up. Looks like Happy was looking for a more aggressive position now as well. Just slapping Kilo silly. And Mag went deep with that Primal as well. A great chance now for the Justice to stabilize and start to pressure that advantage in position they have.
And on the other side, we didn't get to see it. So after Opener gets that kill, he starts like, swinging on Proper, and they're both making a beeline for the health pack. And Opener beat him there with the shield to just stand on the health pack, able to get it. Proper so weak, not in a position to do anything, but it's a huge fight win there for the Justice.
Decay is sneaking. Spots Finn. And eats a poison mine instantly. Happy is able to take Violet down, and Matt gets nanoed here. And he's woken. Oh, this could be a problem.
So, yeah, Mag pushes in. Should be able to get 2 more to finish this off. Yeah, so some more time being drained off the clock here by the Justice. What are you playing for here? Nano Blade, potentially? as Kilo moves away from the Widow, will go to Ashe. So interesting. I mean, Ashe can access that high ground, right? So can Widow. Just, it's obviously not as good in that long-range battle, though.
Yeah, he's trying to hedge his bets here. Obviously, a weaker pick into the Widowmaker, but maybe a little bit more...
Better into the Tracer?
Yeah. Just having that coach gun, forcing recalls from Decay when you can. Decay having to play card right now, and Finish absolutely scared of where Happy might pop up next. Decay drive-by. Does not stick the landing on the pulse bomb. Mag slept here, rather a bio on towards Mag to punish could be good. Instead, Finn goes for the long shot. No connection, but there it is, Kilo. Clay Pigeon shoots Happy out of the sky. He's going to get pressured even. Proper wants to go in despite the fighting grenade. He has the blade. Another slash, good damage. An opener is followed up on. Another sleep on towards Mag, and that primal is essentially wasted.
Yep, that'll be the Shock taking that second checkpoint. So Kilo opened things up. When you get the Ashe into the medium range against the Widow, that's when the Ashe can really make a big difference. Is this part of the map, Ashe might actually be a really strong pick. So Bob isn't great, right? But at least he forces out like a sleep potentially. You have to do something with Bob. I mean, you could like bubble him, right? And
not good though,
is it? Sleep, but it's not great.
Yeah. You can reposition him around corners with Brigitte, potentially, but still not great. It might just require a sleep immediately. Okay, another long shot there. The bio, Finn, no connection. Proper is in, though. Got himself nano boost, but the body grenade means that he can only go so far. He just dips his toes in, comes out with one elimination without opener. The Justice gives some ground.
I mean, the insta-kill on the opener, though. I mean, he gets nano, just dashes right through his Kaluge. Heal the bionic grenade, not enough to finish him off. Ooh, they actually take out Proper on the other side of the map.
Yeah, he lingers too long, man.
Wait, that was actually a long-range shot there from Kaluge onto Decay with that Winston alternate fire.
Tases him down. Nice use of that alternate fire. Mag controls the high ground now, so he's happy to build some ultimate, put some pressure on that backline. He wants Finn. Needs to go for that elimination. Finn's going to get a repair pack, and Mag heads for the high ground here, but Decay's down. Kaluge. Bob's in play! Bob deployed, and the Justice don't have Mag in position to do anything.
I mean, it wasn't even Bob. Finn was just on the payload, just riding it in. Yeah, I mean, Finn Rookie of the Year. Yeah, that's the play. You finish the map, you finish with time in the bank, so San Francisco trying to keep themselves alive here. I think that's huge there. You got to get some type of positive momentum going in your way.
And we kind of teased that potential Widowmaker face-off at the start of the round. It's been less about Kilo versus Happy and more about Decay constantly finding Kilo on that Widow, harassing him, denying him, you know, any sort of sight line, and letting Happy just be unfettered, not having to worry which angle Kilo might try and pressure from, and Happy constantly just getting these kills on Violet, right? Getting rid of Finn, punishing Kaluge with a headshot as he tries to dive in. You can do so much when you're given that kind of space by your Tracer player.
I feel like they've been more effective on the Shock this map with the Genji in the mix. That Kaluge and Proper with Proper getting like the nanos and whatnot. Not even the blades, just being able to get the dash resets and, you know, be very aggressive and definitely given the Justice a little bit more trouble than they were when they were dealing with the Tracer setup.
So Kaluge will play in such a position as to try and go for, again, that high ground defense, but with this TP to the high ground, giving you know, a really nice vantage point for the Justice. Shock likely will have to cede control here, and I mean, Kilo, not an aggressive angle for him. Very safe.
What are we doing here?
We are TPing up here.
And it just took a little bit. They kind of like crouched all the way up, and like, I don't know, maybe they're
just in case
the
Tracer, I guess, was close, or
maybe they're trying to bait the Shock, like to look or, you know, be a little bit out of position or something, but nothing there. Now we'll get the Widowmaker swap from Happy.
So again, as it was in the first round, Kilo has pretty decent sidelines here, can play quite far back in that courtyard, whereas Happy's the one that has to mix it up and start probing a little bit. But will Proper be able to pressure Happy? He's not playing the Tracer, he can't just get out. I mean, Proper's so all in this Genji role that maybe he has to leave Happy until the fight really starts.
See, I'm more thinking about how can Decay put the pressure on Kilo, right? Because you're going to have to play through some of these close chokes, right? Very easy to just get lined up by a Widowmaker. get headshot. Not as many like flanking opportunities here on the attack.
Kilo knows that at some point he has to try and stake his authority here. Can't play passive angles this whole time.
Gets so low.
Oh, collusion's done! Bionic Grey connected there and he tried to get away. The Justice saw their opening though and they went for it. Oh, geez, that's quite a thing to wake up to, isn't it?
No, fight win for the Justice here. So, okay, Kilo answers back with a headshot on a decay. You have in for sight now.
Finn, huge Bionic Grenade, open things up. Kilo found a second on a Krillin. Now he's getting some work done. Happy knew Infrasight was active, so he sort of fake peeked that corner. I love the rotation from Kilo, but he gives himself away with a missed shot. Now he's putting the pressure on Happy, though.
You'll have a nano boost for the shock for the next fight. Maybe you could use it to build up the blade, or maybe use it to build up primal. And one available for the Justice is Decay. He's found a little bit of an angle here, a little bit of a route. You see him on your screen, just trying to take this flank all the way up. It's yeah, it looks like Kilo, he knows.
Poison mine. Okay, has to be a recall there. Otherwise, Decay dies to the ticking poison. Still wants to pressure Kilo. Happy enough to get his hand. Oh, you're kidding! Another from Proper.
That is unreal.
Talk about return to sender.
Yeah, you know, how many times can you replicate that, you would say, and he's able to do so with ease. We do have a blade going on right now. It gets shut down, though, by Proper, by Opener, so Proper ends up using the blade as the payload moving here.
Now we're in the same boat as you, gang, at the moment. As for those at home, probably know what's going on still is Collusion able to find that primal rage. Here in the venue, though, it's a freeze frame.
Oh, no, we're back. We're back.
Okay, we're working on it. All right. Card still not quite to that checkpoint yet. Thanks for bearing with us here. 38 seconds left for the Justice. They have to break through here. The primal from Kaluge really messed him up. Happy has the infrasight, though.
Yes, this defense has been great for San Francisco. As nothing here is Justice trying to maybe go on a flank here. Is Mag dropping down on the supports.
Mag got headshot there, I think, instantly from Kilo. He's put to sleep now. Krillin is down. It's going to have to be the rally to carry the Justice forward, but Proper starting to run right on them with the Tracer. It's 3 at a critical point, and a 4 from range. And that should be enough to put him to bed. You have to think that'll do it. It's Proper coming alive, and San Francisco get a second bite at it. They stay up in this series, 2-1.
Proper making plays on the Tracer and the Genji, and then Kilo also coming off of the bench, able to play that Widow at a high level. Lead the Shock to a map win there, but it'll be the Justice map pick for push. So Justice will be able to take it to the map that they feel the best on with an opportunity to close it out.
No more map picks for the Shock left in this series. They're going to have to hope to be able to step up on whatever the Justice throws at them. Timely substitution with Kilo coming in alongside Proper, and we get to see them succeed at this sort of most well-known roles. The Proper Genji, that's 2 deflected headshots against Widowmakers. We rarely see one in a week of play. They are so rare, and Proper found 2. Incredible stuff. San Francisco have got the flair, but can they outlast the Justice? Stick around, you're sure to find out. Francisco's shot.
Some of the most hardcore carry performances that I've ever seen.
Just a depth of talent on their roster that can't be denied.
I mean, what more can you ask from the Shock? This is going to be a wild ride.
Violet is cracked. He's out of his mind.
I say that justice. Okay.
Face with everything right now.
Jesus Christ, dude. Sam is deadlifting right now, actually. Finish is doing so much. Cleans it up like DPS and Yardo.
San Francisco has cemented themselves as the greatest team in Overwatch. The Overwatch League's most decorated franchise here in a new era for their roster. Struggle early in this series against the Washington Justice. Yes, it's double elimination here at the Kickoff Clash, but falling to the lower bracket this early is something that they truly are hoping to avoid. A little bit of a shaky start, but a great bounce back, Matthew, on the map of Dorado.
Yeah, and when we go into this fourth map in this set, it will be Push, our newest game mode, to competitive Overwatch. I also would say a lot of teams probably have the preference to go to New Queen Street. That's where we're going to be going here in this series. So is it a map pick for the Justice? Yes, but obviously you have two maps to pick from,
right,
and one is heavily favored over the other by a majority of the players. So you're going to a map that probably both teams would have selected in this type of position. So might not be the hugest advantage in terms of map pick here for the Washington Justice, but on the inverse side of things, Push is a mode that if you get off, we've been talking a little bit about it with like us in the back, if you can get off to a pretty good start, right? You get like 40, 50 meters, right? It puts so much pressure on the other team because it's not a ton of time on the clock. It takes that bot a long time to move. You got to win a few fights in a row to match that point. Winning this first fight and getting like good value out of it could really set you up well for the rest of the game.
For my money, this is going to be about the Tracer players in a big way. This map caters rather well to those individual flankers, and Decay is absolutely one of those. Saw Proper really come alive in that Genji. I mean, the Genji's really a standout, right? There are teams that have been able to leverage that to great success, especially in APAC, right? I think of, Zest on the Philadelphia Fusion.
Yeah.
They still want to, say what we want about their team's record so far. Heartbreaking as it is for me. But, I mean, the Genji was huge for Proper. You have to play it differently to the Tracer, but you're not surprised to see him hover it here on New Queen Street. Who will be the mightiest of the flankers? We're going to find out in just a moment.
I think you're looking at the Justice side of things. Krillin obviously played a great series thing, Happy as well. Looking at Decay and Mag, maybe they can be difference makers here, and for the Shock, can Proper keep up that level of play we just saw in Dorado.
Yeah. Got to admit, him and Kilo coming alive there was quite timely for San Francisco. Again, we get a bit of a neutral fight here on this ledge. And the team in a dive in by Mag. He's looking for a bit of something. It's Proper playing pretty passively. Actually concede control early.
It's a lot of good space created there because it was a two-player biotic grenade on Kilo and Violet, and they both got really low, so they had to back out. And this kind of concedes some of this high ground completely to the Justice.
One biotic grenade converts into such a big lead early. Proper lingers a little bit in the back line and falls under Happy scrutiny. Forced to recall. Kaluj won't have that option though, so Finn needs to keep him topped up. Both these teams are looking for a way to wrap around each other. A lot of jockeying for position happening right now.
Maybe you do have the Justice in control of the bot.
You're kidding!
That is fast. I mean, no opportunity for Happy to even react.
Another bio to Kaluj though, that allows Decay to reciprocate. Still the Shock look like they're feeling a bit more confident. Yes, they're down Kaluj. They have both DPS in play. Crucially, that Soldier 76. Mag's hoping to try and do something about it. Deficit, another cracker of a bio nade from Krillin.
Yeah, I was going to say, you still have your tank in the mix, though, for the Justice. It'll be Kilo with Attack Visor, and he's going to pop it now. He knows how important it is to stop this potential push.
Oh, Krillin couldn't get away from it there, and now Kilo can drop in behind. That's 2 and counting, ladies and gentlemen. And Mag has nowhere to go. San Francisco win that first big engagement after so much positioning.
As the bottle move quite fast back to the barrier. Start to get it going, but the Justice got 15 meters during that. You imagine The Shock gonna get about the same, probably a bit more here, yet they will take the lead.
Ponderously, that barrier will advance. In the meantime, it's, oh, Proper just runs into Krillin. The setup of the bio's good, and a stick is a follow-up that you only dream about. Happy goes for the biotic field there. Proper realizes he doesn't have the gas in the tank, but Kilo sure does. He sends a salvo and clips Happy with the helix.
These biotic grenades from both Annas are the thing that's dictating a lot of these fights.
This whole game.
Yeah, that time it was Finn with 3 players, a connection, and you see how easy it is for Collusion Proper to go in and mop it up.
The Justice scrabbling to get back in position. Happy takes a hit as he gets that high ground set up. Getting the front spawn will be pretty advantageous here for the Shock early. Happy might want to try and flank around with this tack. No Nano to follow it up here, so he needs to make sure there's no bubbles in his way. And here's the tack. Kalu's jumped in without his bubble, but he's going to have the primal if he needs it. The sound barrier, though, seems to have done the job, and Proper takes matters into his own hands.
It's a Shocker speed running here on New Queen Street. They're going to get control of the bot again. That will be the front spawn. So the bot will take a little bit to move the barrier on forward. So, you know, you have some ultimates to work with here. You see on the Justice side, they really don't have much. You in this one for the Shock, you're in a spot where, like, oh, oddly, you could potentially finish the map.
Primal now from Kaluj here. Decay forced to try and look for that health pack, and Proper is keeping him under wraps right now. Once again, the Tracer's duel. Recall from Proper. He has a pulse bomb to spend here. Mag might have to primal as he wakes up. Yeah, he got that forced from the sleep dart. He would have been done for otherwise. But Happy, standing inside a biotic field with a healer at his back, crumples under the pressure of Proper in the Shock. And it's another stick. This guy is out of his mind.
Yeah, as the Justice end up using the Nano here onto Mag, and you still have 3 players up. You're going to lose Decay, you're going to lose Mag, as you're going to have that forward spawn. It'll be Finn coming back with Kilo. You have a Nano Visor, the bot's going to get around this corner. You have nothing for the Justice. You could see a finish.
I mean, Proper is unreal. First the Genji, that previous map, now the Tracer is just racking up those kills. Finn in position, it's a tight angle, he can't yet. He's trying to get eyes on Kaluj here.
It looks like they're trying to flank with this Visor.
All right, Nano for Kaluj. Pushes forward here, maybe create some spacing, a setup for Kilo to flank with his tack visor. Proper's found Decay again, winning the Tracer duel, but Kilo a little less confident about pressing his advantage right now. Mag jumps in his face, and here's that sound barrier Kaluj didn't benefit from, but oh, Happy! A purple shower! San Francisco are here with a bio as well. Now I have to slow the pace down a little bit here. Pulse from Decay connects, and they'll get cleaned up.
Oh man, this is so difficult for the Justice. How I talked about earlier on, right? You get an early lead, it's so difficult to win enough fights to bring it back. Look at this, 90 meters to 15. So you only have 2 minutes 42 on the clock. You're gonna have a little bit of an ultimate advantage here for the Justice. I think it's essential for them to win this next fight with very little to no investment. Trying and invest almost nothing. You're gonna need, what, 2 to 3 more fight wins after this to beat that.
Hardly an option, is it? I mean, Mag gets slept, that Primal might be his only, you know, his only choice to try and stay alive, keep his team in the fight. Happy, frustrating, has to play the long range game here. He's trying to close the gap. You see as he crosses the causeway. All right, here we go, Proper pulse. Decay able to get out of that one. Kaluj is sleeping right now during his Primal, and Kilo found Decay with that helix. Now we talk about Justice not spending too much here. They have to go for both support ults, Matt.
Yeah, and they're going to hold on to this Primal, it looks like, but they have to back off of the bot a little bit. Now they'll start to get it going. Get above 20 meters as we're down to 1:40 on the clock. This visor for Kilo could be massive. Oh, actually, they sleep Proper. That's massive.
What a way to open up the fight. The Justice here with the player advantage. Bionade on Happy's unlikely to bother him too much here. This is big. The Justice have to either win these fights in a row or force the Shock to disengage and get that extra progress. 45 meters, they're halfway there.
I mean, that sleep and kill got them another like 20 meters right there.
Mag's diving in right now. He has Primal. He's going to have to use it if things get sticky. And there it is. Finn having to nade himself again. Kilo forced back now. Tactical Visor Man going to be under a little bit of pressure, but Finn was found by the pulse bomb. Kilo looking for something, anybody, to try and even the ledger. He comes up with nothing, and he extends pretty deep. Proppers back into the fight now, and there's a decent amount of pressure on Decay. Eventually, he's going to get brought down, and Krillin's in a compromising position in the back line. Sleep Dart got used, and the sound barrier means that the shot can go a little deeper for this fight win, and they'll have it.
Man, that is a backbreaker there for the Justice to lose. That looked like their fight to win. They ended up getting a little bit of an advantage early on. Just some extra ultimates there for the Shock to move them over the line. This is bad, right? Because the bot's going to start moving faster towards the Shock's barrier. See where it is on your screen. It's going to make the Justice go even further.
The Justice have to dig deep here. You have to hope they haven't expended all of their star power. It's a terrible opener, though. They've lost Happy to Finn at long range. Yeah, Proper definitely had Krillin dead to rights there, and Mag is just hunting for a target. Finn keeps himself scarce, but oh, it's just going to be Mag returning to the bot here. It's over for the Justice. They have very little to work with right now, and Mag is just trying to stay alive. Okay, wait a minute. The sound barrier to keep them in a little bit longer? No, Mag brought down. Now it's just opener on the bot. He's going to be forced away. His overtime ticks down, and San Francisco have set up a map 5, a decider in this first match of the Kickoff Clash.
They were dominant there on New Queen Street. They get 90 meters with that push early on, and they never look back. The Justice, when you give up that much of a push early, there's really nothing you can do to battle back from it. As now all the pressure is swung back onto Washington. You go up 2-0 against the #1 seed. You gotta close on those opportunities.
San Francisco here. A reverse sweep scenario against the Justice is on the cards. Don't go too far, everybody. The decider in this first exciting match is coming right up. Well, I'll be honest with you, Matt, I didn't exactly think we'd be in a potential reverse sweep scenario this early in the kickoff clash. Slow start for the Shock, but looks like they've found their land legs.
It's a bit surprising with how the first two maps went. The first two maps were rather close though. Still, it felt like the Justice had all momentum. Everything was on their side. Dorado seemed to flip a little bit, go towards the Shock, and then last map was dominant. We do have some subs here for this game 5. Assassin will be in for the Justice, so he played in their control map in game number 1. And then we will have Sam, who comes in for Kilo. I get why teams do this, right? They have players they want to play in certain situations and whatnot. I always do feel bad for players who are brought off the bench kind of cold into a game 5. I mean, what, Assassin has not played since the first map in the series, and then, you know, what is he, in the back shooting bots, and you expect them to just get up on stage and go for it? I always feel like it's a really tough spot to put the players in.
And we may see San Francisco return that Lucio Moira composition, right, with the Reaper involved. One that it looked like the Justice were well and truly prepared to deal with. Yeah, you're not seeing things, ladies and gentlemen. Our last map in the series, the decider. We're headed to Lijiang Tower. And I'll give you a little bit of a hint on this stage. It's going to be pretty closed in.
So we'll get a chance to see what both teams want to run early on. You think, you know, obviously Sam in the game has a ton of flexibility, able to play a ton of different stuff, right? The Reaper, the Genji, maybe some, you know, Echo, right? They played like Echo Soldier, where I think he played the Soldier on Eichenwalde. At least thus far, looks like we'll be hovering the Reaper. I expect the Shock to run what they're showing right now. Do not expect the Justice to run this. I mean, maybe, but not the Reinhardt. I would say probably you'll see something different than the Ryan.
Proper, coming off a deadlift on New Queen Street. 15 out of 29 final blows on that map. And I mean, we saw the Tracer just dominating the kill feed. This is some more of an expected lineup. It will be Lucio Moira for the Shock, but more interestingly, for the Justice as well. Krillin is off the Ana.
Off the Ana. Mag is on Orisa. This is the first time I think we've seen Orisa. As, no, very strong during the PvP beta, I think. Using the spear, the twirl, and getting in the mix. Really making it an issue for teams. It's the first time I think we've seen it, though, now.
Yeah, this is bizarre. Going for it in a map 5. My God. Again, we felt Orisa was pretty strong, right? Especially in our testing. Javelin spin here to send Mag forward with a bit of a speed boost, destroying those projectiles, but eventually they get run over. Trying to make something happen with Orisa there. Nothing doing.
It's interesting, you're playing a composition that would be good, I was going to say, with Doomfist or Winston, and you're trying to play the Orisa, the coach of the Shock types in the chat. What was that?
Are you kidding? Okay, off the Orisa, we got to see it, thanks. That's about all we need to see for now. Mag on the Doomfist. Here's the Coalescence coming in. It's going to be Soundbay around Coalescence for San Francisco. They layer those support ultimates here. And now the Justice have a later beat. How will this play out? Happy a little bit low right now. On the point though, as the shot got control early on because of the interesting snafu with the Orisa. Mag punch pretty good. Assassin's able to burn Violet down. But he gets ripped one by Kaluj at long range.
Yeah, Kaluj is going to have the primal to keep this going for the Shock as Proper's able to finish off. Opener, Krillin is low. They force him back as the Shock able to hold on. As coming out on that Orisa is a bit of a gamble.
Yes.
It may end up coming to bite the Justice here. Is you lose that first fight on control, you're behind in ultimates. It's
Krusty typing in the chat. What was that? Midway through a round, by the way. Oh, gosh. Okay, no Fate Force as of yet. By the looks of things, a big punch from Mag. 3 stunned. No eliminations. Oh, you're kidding. It's got to be a Wraith Walk to shut off that Pulse Bomb. Proper still in position to punish here, and Sam deals with Happy. But Assassin comes in, subbed in for Matt Fire. The Echo's looking pretty clean so far, and Matt, it's going to have to be for the rest of the round.
Yeah, it's just to be the Justice flipping the point. And I think if you want to talk about a positive for the Justice this far, is they've actually been able to get first blood in a reasonable amount of these fights here, on this point. Outside of the first one, they actually, Assassin kicks off the last fight with a first blood, and then this fight that they just win with one as well. That I think if you're able to get these first kills and fights, nice play there as you're able to get rid of Happy as he's using Death Blossom.
Happy's in a Winston bubble, he can't get that life steal, so Sam's able to pop in from the outside of it. Assassin's knocked out of Duplicate, he's forced to give a lot of ground here. Justice burn a couple of key ultimates, but sound barriers come out simultaneously for these two teams. Proper's looking to surge forward if he can. Mag had a punch charged up, but there's another Pulse Bomb here already built for Proper. Where does it go? That's the question. Sees Krillin in that back corner. Mag charging one up, and Proper goes a little bit wide on the deployment. But Sam's found Assassin. Somehow the Echo's wings are clipped by the Hellfire shotguns, and Proper looks to keep flanking. Nobody's keeping tabs on him right now as the kills come in for San Francisco.
And how did they keep Kaluj alive? He was so low. As Assassin was trying to chase him down to the focusing beam. The focusing beam just ran out right as he may have been able to finish him off, but you get that pick on the Kaluj, maybe a completely different fight. It's the Shock one fight away from taking our first point on Lijiang Tower.
Mag is the first in. Seismic Slam. Meteor Strike to get him out here. He's going to land. Not a whole lot of damage from that, but he is back in the fight at the very least here. Primal Rage for Kaluj, but he took a pretty large amount of damage early. These supports are trying to build their ultimates up as quickly as they can. Finn's going to have a Coalescence, and he lets it go immediately. Assassin's going to be forced back. He's so low, and Proper finishes the job. A Death Blossom is interrupted there by Sam. Can't get it finished because of the punch that came in, but here's the sound barrier. Krillin finally has the Coalescence, but these support ultimates have come in a little bit too late. Sam plays point, but Happy is down. A huge amount of the damage for the Justice has been taken off the board. And how are they going to get back in this fight? It's a sound barrier from Opener that managed to get Proper. It's only 4 left for the San Francisco Shock here. Krillin's got a safe perch on the high ground, but the Justice are trying to regroup for a moment behind Mag's punch.
Yeah, they're allowing the Justice to get back into the fight. Happy's got a Death Blossom.
No one's going to be there to see it though. Kaluj gets burned down by the focusing beam, and the Shock give the point.
I was surprised that they played a little bit passive there, the Shock. I feel like they had a big advantage in terms of the support ults. They got rid of Assassin and Happy. It was just the tank in both supports. Krillin ends up using the Coalescence, keeping him up. But look at this. I mean, now the Justice are in an interesting spot. You're going to have Assassin with this duplicate. What do you do? Could you, like, get a Moira, like a Coalescence? Maybe a second Reaper in the mix? Some interesting options here.
Punch comes up short for Mag. Charges a power block, another Meteor Strike. Finn takes half his health. His damage from that one has to back up. Sam's a little low at the moment as well. Mag's on the point. Forces recall from Proper there. Assassin duplicates and Tracer. Here's the Coalescence from Finn now as Assassin has a Pulse Bomb to spend in this duplicated form. It's a stick on a Moira and Coalescence. He's not able to find it though. The Coalescence just in time, and Finn is able to fade that one. Proper pressure here, but Kaluj has already been taken down. The sound barrier from Opener is well timed indeed. A 5v4 here. Violet trying to stay alive on the point, but Sam not so lucky. The focusing beam will claim that Lucio. And who's here from the Shock to stand up? They'll stall for a moment. Here it is. Primal Rage comes back in from Kaluj. Just enough time got bored, but Finn's going to send careening over the edge. The Winston has to get out. Now Proper steps up to keep overtime going, but it's a matter of time. And the Justice get the first round on Lijiang.
This is where, if you're the coach of the Justice, you gotta type "what was that" in the chat. You gotta fire back. You gotta have
Where's the question marks?
You gotta have those shots.
Nothing?
You gotta have those shots on deck.
So I did point out a little bit about halfway through that, like the positive for the Justice is they were consistently getting the first bloods in those fights, and we know that in Overwatch 2 and 5-on-5, the first blood is like the win rate of fights, like extremely high, like even higher than Overwatch 1. That
20% higher than Overwatch 1.
Right, so you end up like losing a fight or two early on that go that way, but the percentages still lie heavily on your side, that if you're able to replicate that, eventually you're gonna string them together, right? And that's what happens at the end.
Smarting. The San Francisco Shock after that round and after such an early lead. At this point, it's just execution, Matt.
Why didn't they try the Orisa again?
The fact they only got away with that may well go down in history this season. So the Justice play from behind the point here.
This Mag has been pretty strong on this Doomfist. See if he's able to go and just cause some problems. A nice punch there on a proper gets him to use recall, and Sam is low. You may not be able to fight this.
It's not for proper. He'd rather flank against this Doom setup. He's walking into punches. Kaluge, my God, that's aggressive. And the Justice are pretty good at dealing with this dive setup. Proper has already built a pulse bomb. Oh my, that one's gone airmail, Matthew.
It's not going to be enough, though. I mean, it should not be enough, right? As it's going to be both supports and Kaluge alive. They may come back in, try and make a play for this, as both Lucio's already with beat.
Happy takes a fair bit of poke damage now, and Kaluge wants to try and capitalize if he can. Mag back in once more. Punch is good, Meteor strike out. Great walk from the Reaper there. Sam's able to get away from an ultimate coming in, but the sound barriers are now being used. Coalescence is also in play, and Krillin's about to build his. The Shock need to find something, and they do! Oh, they get Krillin! He get the Coalescence! That's not going to be an option anymore. San Francisco eventually able to steamroll Mag in the absence of that extra healing. They don't get the point.
It's a massive kill on Krillin, because he's coming up on the Coalescence, and the Shotgun don't overlapping their support ultimates there. They kick things off with the sound barrier. They end up using the Coalescence like shortly after when the sound barrier comes in from opener. So they know they have an advantage in terms of healing, but it's only that small window of time they have that.
Proper with the bird's eye view of the situation. Sees that Coalescence that Krillin have been holding on to. Can they get out? Oh my God, he can't fade! He's stuck inside the ultimate animation! Couldn't have asked for better timing from Proper. He just guts the Justice.
It's like, I will not let us lose. You guys may be okay with it, but I will not let that happen, as he has put on some performance here in the second half of this series.
He hates losing more than the Justice love winning, apparently.
He doesn't want to learn.
All right, Kaluge. A little awkward for him there as he gets juggled a little bit, but he has that primal rage to rely on. He's forced to use it a little early here. Okay, Duplicate ends up getting used here by Assassin. It's two Reapers, so Kaluge definitely has to get out of that situation. Now, the Shock have to regroup quickly, Matt.
Yeah, that'll be a Death Blossom here from Happy. So he'll be able to finish just one player off, but still, you even see him coming out of Assassin. Doesn't even have to use the Death Blossom that he builds up.
That was pretty convincing from the Justice, Matt. Kaluge kind of had no choice but to use that Primal Rage. But Mag's pressure, plus, you know, the potential for Happy to walk up on him.
So Kaluge goes over to the Doom now. Just put a little bit more pressure. You can be a little bit more offensive, I feel like, with the Doom. Like, it's nowhere near as good to be able to, like, go back and peel and provide some support for your healers, but just like it is an offensive fire, powerhouse.
No.
Doomfist is sick.
Mag, sound barrier here, Proper. Doesn't go too deep there, and Kaluge is able to find a punch on Assassin. Here's an opening. Happy's forced in the Wraith Walk, but no one's healing him right now. He's so low, he can't get away as Sam pursues as it comes out of the shadows. Gets his lights knocked out. Okay.
So within 10% now for the Justices, Assassin will now go over to Tracer. So want to move away from the Echo. Maybe the Echo is making the biggest impact now as the Tracer from Proper starting to get online, but Proper can put this point away with a nice pulse bomb.
It's his Coalescence from Krillin. Gonna be a big difference maker, and Proper has a pulse bomb. He can punish that ultimate. but he's too far away right now. Looks like the Shock are just going to give this ground away. They've not taken too much damage, which is crucial. And here they come once more. Kaluge comes in with a seismic slam. Death Blossom, Sam is shut down. Everybody from the Justice looks on and just punish the Reaper in the middle of the action. Proper doesn't have a recall for another second, and he can't get away. Mag takes him down with the seismic. And the Shock have to try again.
This is a lot like the last point, though. No, in terms of percentage, right? You're going to get up to, before the next fight probably kicks off, you're going to get like near 88%. Like, this fight goes long. You're looking at last fight scenario, and look at some of these things on the board. I mean, you have a Meteor Strike, you probably have a Pulse Bomb for Assassin, Death Blossom. The Shock, I mean, you're relying on Proper again with this Pulse Bomb to go huge.
This is it, the Shock, if they want a reverse sweep, it's got to happen here and now. The Pulse Bomb from Proper is the centerpiece of their plan. Violet's sound barrier is also crucial as Opener is 20% away from his. The fight must start soon. Mag's a little low, has to get out with that Meteor Strike here as Proper also recall. Oh, the Pulse under Mag! He knew he was coming, and he gives him a welcoming gift. Kaluge, Meteor Strike in now, it's going to be a sound barrier for 4, and Happy's knocked away with the Death Blossom. Still Assassin's able to find Sam, but both Reapers are out of the picture now. Finn's Coalescence is huge, it's absolutely massive. Opener's forced to run away and hope his team can keep overtime going, Matt.
Yeah, you're going to have some members for the Justice trying to get back, but not able to do so. Krillin and Opener, they backed up to try and get Matt back into the fight, maybe a little bit faster, and they have the Coalescence to use there. I think they were relying on Assassin to keep the point going, but not able to do so as we go to a final point.
The composure for Proper, he knew that Mag was just going to materialize in front of him from that Meteor Strike, and he had the exact answer.
I would say as well, Kaluge connecting on a punch to interrupt Happy during the Death Blossom.
Knock him back, yeah.
That was a big kill, a big play there, because I believe he ends up getting one with the Death Blossom. Judging from the overhead map, he doesn't get displaced. May have gotten a second or two more. So it'll be both teams right here coming out with the Tracer look. So Assassin gonna ditch the Echo, go with the Tracer, and then also for the Shock, they're gonna ditch the Winston play here. They're gonna go aggressive with this Doom.
Nice Meteor Strike connection there from Kaluge. A lot slow, it's annoying to deal with. Map 5, round 3. This is the final stage of this series. And early on, as again, is trying to find some vulnerabilities here, but no burst healing available for the Justice, so they take a lot of damage early. They need to find a way to back away, regroup, and they have to give up the point as a result.
Yeah, they're getting very close to a sound barrier, though, so they might be able to go aggressive and use a sound barrier early on.
Happy low, gets hit with a punch there. Still doesn't Wraith Walk, or maybe he can't. Pulse Bomb, stick on the Moira, it's going to be a fade away, and the sound barrier out here from Opener. Vito opts not to use his get, and may not, as Sam is already felled.
Yeah, I think you'll see what happens.
Here we go.
Once the Meteor Strike comes down, and that's going to be the sound barrier.
Okay, with 4 players, the Shock want to try and commit to this fight. Well, can they find the Coalescence as well? They still have control of the point, so they want to extend their cap as long as possible. Assassin's looking healthy though, when he sees overhead goes Kaluge. Mag gonna land on Sam with a Meteor Strike, so San Francisco may have made an error. Yes, they get 40%, but they spend a lot of ultimates for this stall.
Yeah, but the ultimates gain them, what, 30, 40%? Potentially, about 30% there extra. So,
does that work for you?
You don't exactly hate that. Yeah, I don't hate it, because you also, it's not like they ended up throwing these ultimates in to extend it, and the Justice had to spend nothing. The Justice pretty much had to go all in as well. So you're able to extend that. Now you have a Death Blossom right here for the Justice. You end up losing this fight. You're still in a tremendous spot if you're the Shock.
Death Blossom from Happy, obviously on board. Can he get deep enough without getting booped, punched, knocked away? It's a tough ask. I know the Shock are just looking for an opening, right? There's no bio-nades to start these fights. They have to do it the old-fashioned way.
Proper is in a really tough spot as he's able to make it back to his team. That's crazy.
It's like the bloody Italian job in here. All right, Sam going to get sound barrier here, deployed for Violet. Opener's holding on to his for now, but he can't save Mag. The Doomfist is missing for the Justice, and they go for a belated sound barrier, but Happy gets nothing from the Death Blossom. Disastrous here for the Justice. Yeah, they snuck back into the lead, but they're not winning this fight.
No, definitely not. As nothing with the Death Blossom, you're not able to keep Happy up with that sound barrier. Coalescence used as well, you're not going to have that, so Although you do take the lead, it's only going to be for a short period of time. As the percentage flips in favor of the Shock.
Tense moments here. Finn still has Coalescence. The fact that San Francisco have been able to hold on to that key support ultimate should not be overlooked. Kalu's there trades really quite well. A lot of good damage here as he's just sitting, charging the power block, getting some displacement, slowing the Justice down. Has the Meteor Strike there, overcommits with a punch that doesn't hit. Happy, who has to Wraithwalk. Maybe a fair trade, I feel. Finn now with the Coalescence, so the Shocker decided to use it, but look at this stall. They're at 90% and counting. This will force the Justice away to buy more time. Violet is close to a sound barrier as well. This could get dicey. The Justice have to go now, and they're going to be running into the sound barrier. Here it is. Violet lets it go. Mag taken down already at the start of this fight. Proper. The Pulse. It's good! Happy is down! And only 2 left for the Washington Justice. The San Francisco Shock. Beaten black and blue. It's quite the brawl, but in the end, the reverse sweep. Unbelievable! Matt tries to step up to the point, but it's going to be knocked unceremoniously away, and the Shock have done it!
The Justice had a chance, man. Up 2-0 at the start of this series. You have to put teams like the Shock away when you have the chance. And even here in this map 5, you get it to go all the way to the distance. And you had a puncher's chance here towards the end, but the Shock, they bounce back. They really clutch up towards the end.
50% for both sides. San Francisco win a fight, and Finn has that Coalescence, right? There's nothing on the side of the Justice to answer that. So in the next fight, it drags on. They see the Coalescence. They have to back away. And the clock gets burned out. A huge pulse bomb from Proper again. He really answered the challenge delivered by Decay. Those first couple of maps, he stepped up and showed why he is undeniably a Rookie of the Year candidate. That's a great performance from San Francisco. The fact that, look, it got as close as it does tells you a lot about this LAN environment. So much can happen sort of in the space of a few days at LAN. I mean, now at least these two teams are warmed up.
Yeah, and I think teams will view the Justice way differently now. Going into the losers bracket, right? This is a dangerous team. It's not a team that's an 8 seed that you're just going to come in and walk all over. That this is going to be a team that's going to be a difficult out.
I've got to say, I mean, we saw the Justice that mirrored that Lucio Moira composition. Yeah. They didn't do that on Ilios so much. Neither team did, right? We saw both of them playing that Ana a fair bit. You've got to say, where we saw the Justice get to use Krillin and get to start fights, set the pace with those biotic grenade connections across the map, that's where the Justice looked at their best. They really knew how to make that play style work, and every bio-nade was followed up on. Everyone was chased down. And Finn, let's throw back to that first map. That aggressive positioning from Finn, often getting exploited, and even when he wasn't being aggressive, Mag, Decay, Assassin, whoever it was finding him. This Justice team looks nothing like a bottom seed in this tournament.
No, and I think as well, when the Justice went over to the compositions where they were playing that Doomfist, the Doomfist became an easy pulse bomb target for Proper, and he's able to just kind of run all over the map, uncontested. I think those biotic grenades earlier on when they were running those Onacomps was a huge difference maker.
We saw a few things in this series that we just really don't get to see every day, especially in our online play, right? I mean, multiple deadlifts across these maps, right? Where these individuals taking the games into their own hands. And speaking of individuals, we've got Danny down on the stage with one of them. All right, now let's head down for a post-match interview.
Thanks, guys. Yes, I am here with one of them, and it's none other than Proper from San Francisco. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. What a great first match, a reverse sweep. Can't get any better than that. Now, Proper. I mean, it was a reverse sweep, which means that you guys seem to, struggle a little bit in the first 2 maps, but you guys were able to turn things around. What sort of changes did you guys make after map 2? 자, 이번에 또 역수입 또 이렇게 킥오프 클래치가 시작을 하면서 또 이것보다 더 좋은 재밌는 경기가 없지 않나라는 생각을 합니다. 어떻게 보면 첫 번째 2 맵은 좀 힘들어 하시다가 끝에 가서 좀 좋은 모습을 보여주게 되셨는데 좀 어떤 얘기를 해왔고 또 어떻게 해서 승리를 거두시게 되셨나요?
일단 저희 팀이 오랜만에 오프라인 경기하는 거라 좀 긴장돼가지고 첫 번째랑 두 번째 맵에서 실수가 좀 많았는데 그래도 게임은 이길 것 같아가지고 다 같이 열심히 집중하면서 다 같이 의기합 그랬던 것 같아요.
So I feel like, because this is a LAN event and this is first time playing in the offline in front of a crowd, so there was a little bit of nerves, but going into the third map, we sort of got together, just talked to ourselves and just said that we could do it, and that's how we won the game. All right, and you just mentioned about being in front of a crowd and this is a LAN event. Do you feel like the San Francisco Shock sort of had that LAN buff and that helped you get the win today? 자, 방금 또 이제 처음으로 오프라인 경기라고 말씀을 하셨잖아요, 이번이. 어떻게 보면 좀 아무래도 이게 관중들 앞에서 경기를 해서 그 좀 에너지나 좀 이런 게 좀 경기력에 도움이 됐다고 생각을 하시나요?
Yeah, good.
Good?
Yeah, good.
Good.
Yeah,
Good? Good?
yeah, good.
Better? Best?
Good, better, best.
Which one?
Best.
Best! Proper did definitely get the energy from all the fans. So yeah, Proper, thank you so much for doing this interview. That is it for the post-match interview. Let's head back to Uber and Mr. X.
Thank you very much, Danny. And yeah, I mean, what do you say about that, really? I mean, Proper, just expressing that the jitters are there. This is a consistent story. We've been in a league that has had to operate entirely online for over 2 years. Nothing really compares to this environment. You definitely have to check it out if you have a chance to be here. And we've seen even the best players, if they're new to the experience, it affects you.
There's going to be an adjustment period for a lot of players in the league, and I think you're going to see some players really up their play and some players not perform as well as we've seen them play at home, but the Shock bounce back there.
Let's talk about our player of the match here, Matthew. Pretty easy one. We just got to hear from him down on the stage there. It's going to be Proper. Whether it was Genji, whether it was Tracer,